So again, today's agenda, almost coming in, is have, first of all, we have Rochester Mosque talk about their, I call it the real estate, because the real estate summit would learn about their projects and welcome Russia to share a few more words about that. And then Chow is going to share a few things about the state grant. And then we'll go on with Stephanie talk to us about the Black African American community projects. And then I'll give you some update about CMRC. Okay, so I'll stop sharing and hopefully let Rashad share screen if you are able. Are you going to share screen to Rashad? You're muted, however.
Sorry, I can share my screen also, but if you have those same slides, either way is fine.
Okay, yeah, I could. I have your slides that you use for DMC.
Let's
okay,
share those.
Okay.
How about I just share because I have them up so I can share.
You're going to share screen?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll share.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want me to get started?
You go ahead, please.
Okay.
You should be able to share. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. First of all, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you very much. And I'm kind of looking away on my second window there. So I appreciate the opportunity. Al and I, we go a long ways. We used to do the interfaith work many years ago, Tent of Abraham Peace Walk, and several other activities. So we are very well connected. So thank you, Al, for all the things that you do, and this group. That I appreciate this opportunity. So my name is Rashad Firdos, and I am the board chair of the Downtown Rochester Mosque, known as the Masjid Abu Bakr Al Siddiq. And that is right at the heart of DMC zone there, right next to what used to be the Will Heaven music store, if you know where that is. So that is where we are. It is a picture of the mosque from the front of the mosque in downtown Rochester. So before I go into the couple of development opportunities that I presented at that real estate summit there with DMC, just a very brief history of the mosque. The mosque was founded in 1995, I think, or 92. So prior to that, the Muslim community in Rochester, it was pre-immigrants coming in, that many immigrants coming in from different parts of the world. So there were, I think the immigrant community at that time were mostly some professionals at Mayo Clinic and IBM, and they used to kind of rent Keller Hotel basement and other places to hold their Friday prayers. Friday prayer for Muslims are kind of like the Sunday church for Christians, just similar, just to compare that a little bit for you. So the second prayer of Friday, which is a congregational prayer, takes place kind of around noontime, between noon to 2, around that time. So they used to rent a place in Keller Hotel and do that. So there's a patient that came to Mayo Clinic. He saw that and he's like, oh, why don't you guys have a mosque? They're like, well, we haven't been able to purchase one. So he was generous enough and purchased this building for us, basically, and donated it. So that is kind of the history of this mosque. It was donated by one person, a Mayo Clinic patient that came. Fast forward several years after that, around 2000, another Mayo Clinic patient donor and purchased 75-acre land for the mosque, Muslim community here in Rochester, which you're about to see in the presentation coming up. One other thing about the mosque is our mosque in Rochester is managed by a nonprofit. We're a religious nonprofit, just like church, and it is managed by board of directors. And our source of income is whatever people donate when they visit the mosque. There is a box that we have a donation. There's a card reader there, and whoever pays, and however it is, that's how we run. Muslim community in Rochester is very diverse, to say the least. They are Muslims in general are less than 1% of the United States population, which probably is shocking to a lot of people because the amount of airtime and news that Muslims get in the media, that kind of gives the perception that there's probably a lot more Muslims than less than 1% in the whole United States. Rochester is the home of, nobody knows the statistics. We make a guess, maybe 10,000 Muslims or so. We don't know. So there's a little bit of a history of the Muslims in Rochester specifically. The earlier immigrants in Rochester probably were Lebanese immigrants and then Bosnian immigrants, who, those are the two populations, especially Bosnians are the ones that people would not really notice that they're Muslims because of the race. I mean, they're Caucasian, so they blend in with majority of the people. So people don't really they don't really stand out that way as anybody different. However, when we had the immigrants coming from North Africa and Middle East recently, and that becomes more noticeable for people. So the majority of the Muslims in Rochester probably are from North Africa, and then the rest of them are very, very diverse from all over the world. So that is what it is. And one example suffices, when we collect the money, when we open the box to collect the money at the mosque, there are all kinds of currencies that we find in that donation box from all over the world. So it's like a lot of visitors that come and visit at Mayo Clinic. They visit the mosque and just donate whatever currency they brought with them. So kind of always interesting. So if you are a coin collector of some sort, let me know. I have a whole bunch of coins for your collections from all over the world, pretty much, for that. So that is a very high level overview of what is the mosque here in Rochester, a little bit of a history, a little bit of our population that we serve. One more thing I would say that twice a year, Muslims celebrate two holy days for Muslims, is known as Eid. So one of the Eid comes after the end of the month of Ramadan when they fast. And the other one comes after the end of the day of pilgrimage, where millions of people gather in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, where the holy sites of Muslims are, which it is happening very soon here. So at the end of those holy days, we actually rent RCTC, the indoor gym there, and there are like 2,000-3,000 people easy. They come together to do that prayer. And that you could see the diversity if you are there at that site. There's all kinds of Muslims there. So that is the high level. So I'm just going to dive into the couple of development opportunities that we have in Rochester in our mosque. So again, the mosque is located at the heart of downtown Rochester, which is the hub for a very diverse group of people that I just talked about, that I just gave you the background of. And currently, like I said, about 8 to 10,000 Muslims. We have no idea, exactly how many. The Rochester Muslim community lacks an Islamic community center that has bigger space for them to do not only religious worship and things, like we have to rent RCTC a couple times a year for bigger religious gatherings, but also social activities, religious social activities, maybe schools and things like that. They lack that facility there. It also creates, because of the lack of these other facilities, it creates economic challenges and missed opportunities, I would say. For example, I know of several doctors at Mayo Clinic, Muslim doctors, that came to Mayo, and then when they started having families and children, they're like, you know what, there is no Islamic school, for example. There's no big Muslim community here. There's no a social hub there for Muslims where my kids can feel like they belong. So they decide to move into bigger communities like Texas, hospitals in Texas, and they go to Cleveland Clinic or some go back to Middle East. So we lose out those talents because of the lack of these things. So when we say that we want to do the DMC stuff here, Destination Medical Center, you need to have these workers there to serve this people that would come and visit for their care. And supporting the workers includes supporting their families and those families that they brought their needs as well. So when it comes to the Muslims, this is a big lacking here that we're missing out. We know personally, I know many people that left Rochester for bigger cities where we have these facilities. So I'll dive into these two opportunities that we have, the real estate development opportunities. The first one is a project, I would call it Project One. There is a 75-acre land that's pretty much 10 minutes from downtown Mosque, Rochester Mosque. It's right behind the Chateau Theater there in that neighborhood there. There is 75-acre land, as you can see, a little bit of a snippet there from Google Maps. This part is tillable. 50 acre is tillable. That's currently rented to farmers. That is a big opportunity there that we're looking for developers and investors that are interested in utilizing that space, to have a conversation with us. There are many ideas we have, in the past, we have an idea like, okay, if you're a developer, let's say Al is a developer. Al says, hey, I want to buy this land, and how much? And we'll say, okay, you don't have to pay us, Al. How about you build us a facility there, an Islamic center? By the way, we don't need 75 acre for that. Give us something in a 10 acre, and you take the other rest of them. We swap it, we wash it. So Al builds that for us, and he gets the rest of the land, and we build housing and development center there. So that's that kind of a deal we already had with another company pre-COVID. But then the COVID hit and investor drop off and all kinds of things happened. So that didn't really, flourish, obviously. So that's one option there, and we're open to ideas for any coming in and talking to us. The second one is the downtown location. That is located at the heart of downtown, right? I mean, this is one of the same company we had. We were talking to them that we were going to actually sell the downtown land to them where the current mosque is. And then they are going to build a multi-story office condo space there. So it would be very similar to the University Center Rochester, the UMR, that building there, similar. So you walk in, it's kind of a conceptual design, right? Like you walk into the door, there's retail space here, and then just kind of level down is the mosque. And on top, there's parking spot, and then condo, office condo, people can live in and buy and stuff like that. This was kind of the idea we had at that time. And obviously, same thing, pre-COVID, didn't work out. People backed out, and we kind of took a step back on that. So that's an exist for us. So currently, we have these two. To summarize that, the current status, we have this 75-acre land available. We've got some conceptual design, some ideas here and there, some PowerPoints ready. We're open to talk. And there is the downtown facility as well, waiting for innovative ideas and creative things that we could do. Future state beneficiary. So what would happen if we can develop in these two or one or either or both? What will happen is the local Muslim community is 10,000. Again, this is a rough estimate, like just a guesstimate, I would say. There are a lot of international patients that visit Mayo Clinic. Every month, I get calls from international patients that are coming to visit Mayo, either for treatments, to visit family members, or becoming a resident at Mayo. They call the mosque. They say, hey, how's the Muslim community? Is there a school, Islamic school? Is there a Sunday school that my kids can go? Them all kinds of things. We're constantly being touched with these people. So now they will be the big beneficiary for all these people that come and visit Rochester. Local businesses is another big deal. Muslims, eat this special meat called halal meat. It's very similar to kosher meat. So there's a big industry on halal meat, and this is just one example. There's clothing, modest sporting clothing, for example, for a female. Many opportunities there that we are missing out. And as we grow as a community, more people come in and do business here and eat and live here and stay here. There's just opportunities, just grows naturally. So what is our ask? This was our ask at the convention, the real estate developers meeting is simple, that, hey, we're looking for development partners. We're looking for investors. We're looking for project management support. We're a bunch of volunteers. We own these two things, and we're open to ideas. That is it. Kept it short and sweet. If you have questions, comments, now's the time, or any other time. There's my email. It's pretty easy, rochester.mosque@gmail.com. All right.
Okay. Any questions from anybody? If not, I will ask.
Question.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
Yes. So thank you for your presentation. But is it Rashad or Rashid?
Rashed.
Rashad. Thank you.
Sure.
So Rashad, the locations that you just presented to us in the videos, the land property, are you guys looking for partners to provide business and opportunities for that targeted consumer group of for Muslims, or are you guys looking to partner with other targeted groups outside of just the Muslim community as well?
Very good question. No, we're open to any communities. It's not just for Muslims. So the previous plan was we had a contract with signed contract with the development organization. They were going to build us a Islamic community center, and in return they take the rest of the land and they build that land is in a residential area, so they build like housing plots and house, and they would sell the house to whoever wants to buy. So it's not specific to. So to answer your question, no, it is not. We're not looking for Muslim investors or Muslim developers necessarily. Anyone who would have a good plan and can give us what we're looking for, we're willing to swap, essentially.
So one last question.
Yes,
one
sure.
last question I have, because I'm just thinking about the nexus opportunity for the indigenous, which I'm pretty sure you probably know about.
Yes.
And I work with families who I've been encouraging a lot of them to, put together plans where they can work with multiple people with putting, these possible funding together for larger projects such as this. So let's say, for example, there was a family who was awarded, let's say, $100,000, and they wanted to start a business or purchase some land to maybe build a business, let's say a residential home, or either just purchase property to build the actual residential home, whether it's for personal or business purposes. What would you suggest, the type of proposal, what type of proposal would you be looking for in a partnership like that?
Yeah, so we are looking for, first of all, you mentioned something very important that I didn't say about the Muslim population that we have. I was always talking about immigrants community. There are a lot of indigenous Muslims that have been here for generations, like Muslims like Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We don't think about them when we think about Muslims. Islam in America, we think about foreigners with turbans and long beards, right? Like that's kind of the perception, but that's the indigenous community, Muslims that have been here. So there are a lot of those people here attend our mosque as well. So they are part of our community. It is very, very diverse. So in terms of your specific example, if an individual has money and wants, how we would partner with an individual level for that land, because it's a very large piece of land. So perhaps would be best is that if there is any interest like that, we could discuss a little bit more detailed offline, so I understand really what it is that we're looking for. We are nonprofit, like I said. Our properties are put in a trust fund, just a trust organization for upkeep and things like that. So I'm open to discussing more about that.
Okay, thank you. I'll put my
You're
email
welcome.
in the
Thanks.
chat.
Great question. Please, I will drop the email at the chat, right? I will do it right now, which I don't think chat's disabled for me, but Al, if you could throw in my email at the chat, the mosque email, that would be great.
Okay. Thank you, Rashad. And if there's anybody else have any questions, or otherwise we'll move on to the next topic. Rashad, you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. You might find some of the conversation interesting. Omar, you have a question or your comment?
No, just I would say thank you, and Rashid, he's a leadership I know very well, and he's a hard worker, and congratulations with you doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Omar. And he's an elder in our community. He's a respected leader of our Muslim community here in Rochester, and we love him and appreciate his support. His business is actually right across the mosque, so he's our neighbor.
Thank you.
Rochester, you're certainly welcome to continue to work with us, CMRC, because we're always looking for more collaborators too. Rochester.
Sounds good.
And
I'll
again,
listen
you
in for a
can
little bit longer and then drop off. Thank you.
Okay, Charles, you're up to. Are you going to talk a bit about the grant?
Yes. Good evening at this point to everyone. Thank you all. I will only take 5 minutes. I don't need 10. But the Minnesota legislature recently voted on more bills than they've ever voted on. And thankfully, one of the bills that was put forward was for the Nonprofit Infrastructure Grant Program. It's a program that has existed for a couple of years that was maxed out at $2 million. But they voted to expand that to $4 million for the next 2 years. And so I will share where you can go to take a look at this. And seems like perfect timing. Give me 1 second. Of course, my screen is asking for permissions. 1 second.
We can see your screen, by the way.
Thank you. It's just on one end, it was asking for permission. So, so the Nonprofit Infrastructure Grant Program is specific to culturally specific organizations, and they are very intentional about them being BIPOC-led if possible. And the grant is open to any nonprofit that has a cultural component to focus and is run by a BIPOC community member. And their hope in this grant is that it would fund things that would allow nonprofits to grow, because we all know that we have a lot of very small nonprofits, and a lot of times it's hard to grow because they're not making a lot of money or don't have a lot of investment put towards them. And so I wanted to share that if you go to this Propel Nonprofits, and I noticed here, Al, that I'm not able to put this in the chat, but I can share this information with you. Applications are open in August. In the past year or two, a lot of the money has gone towards the Twin Cities. I just wanted to put a plug in here so that more of our community knows that this exists. They can apply for it. And so I had Rashid talk about his nonprofit. Nashana was asking about others, and I know there are lots of people in here who run or are part of a nonprofit that could benefit from this. The uses can vary quite greatly, so just take a minute to look through this. And I think there's a group in here that has been a recipient when I was looking at the past one. So it is certainly possible. I'm also happy to provide some grant writing support or help to any organization that might want to apply, but might look at all of the documents and say where do we start? So putting it out there for that, for everyone to take a look at. And I'm happy to answer any questions that folks might have.
Are there any questions?
This is Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, if I'm a nonprofit that is supported by the Rochester Area Foundation, we're not a 501c3, but we're a physical agent. Are we qualified to apply for this, or it has to be a 501c3?
That is a great question. I can look through to see if that changed. Last I checked, you did have to be a 501c3 that has a budget of $1 million or less a year. So you have to be a small nonprofit. But Kim Sin, I'll follow up with you and just double check to see for those folks that are fiscally sponsored if they would still qualify. But thank you for asking that, because I hadn't thought about that either.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Question.
Omar, you have a question. Yeah, Omar. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So where we can apply this grant, under the state or under where?
It is a state grant. And so I was going to put the link in the chat, but I'm not able to access the chat at all. So I'll share the information with Al to share with everyone, but it is through Propel Nonprofit.
Propel, yeah, I know that.
Yes.
Propel,
yeah. So yeah, that would be where you put in the information.
Okay.
I'll put the information on my website too, so you can go there. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so next up is Stephanie. Talk to us about what she's up to. The African American group is up to. Black African American group is up to. Stephanie is hopefully there. I don't see. Oh, there she is. Okay,
Yeah.
hi, Stephanie.
Yes, I
Okay.
am. Yes, I am.
Good.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Great.
I am sorry. Today's been an interesting day for me. I apologize for my grandbaby crying in the background. I came outside because he's having a fit right now. Let me share my screen. Okay. I can't see. What can y'all see right now?
We can see a screen, the whole
You can see
screen
my-
right now.
Okay. Well, that's going in the right direction.
Yeah. You're on the phone, right? Is that what you are?
Yeah, so let me know when you guys can't see, because I can't see what I'm sharing.
Yeah, we have your search slide. The search.
Okay. Okay, so let's start there. Okay, so tonight I just want to give some updates of just some of the organizations that I'm involved in, and some of the things we have going on. So CERT is kind of the umbrella right now for a few different organizations that I want to just give a little bit of knowledge on really quick here about what they're doing and what they have going on. CERT, as some people are aware, is the Community Engagement Response Team here in Rochester, Minnesota. We do several things throughout the year. Our big update with CERT is we are looking for community volunteers. For people that are willing to come out. Our work is mostly, we kind of stay in what we consider the poverty pockets of Rochester, and we bring services directly to those areas. Starting next Friday, we'll begin doing our movie nights with CERT, where we have pretty much a big blow up movie screen. We have popcorn out there, and sometimes hot dogs or hamburgers if they're donated, chips, juice, water, and we just spend some time with the youth and the residents in different apartment complexes around the community. For people that are interested in coming out and helping or, providing a service, is all volunteer. You can get in contact either with myself or through Al. He can direct you to contact myself, my husband, Bud, or Andre. So that's the big thing that CERT has coming up. Also, CERT is partnering with FSR on the Meadow Park Initiative, which I guess is its own separate complete update. But there's a lot of work being done in that area that CERT is involved with. Our second big thing is the update that we're going to be doing our second annual gala, and that'll be on the 16th of September. We're going to do from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be called a Night of Soulful Jazz. We are going to be opening up for selling tickets here in the next couple of weeks. Tickets will be $75 a person. We are having a New Orleans style buffet with crawfish, beignets, and jambalaya and gumbo. So it's going to be a really good time. So we really want people to spread the word to come out and support the initiative. Okay. So some of the initiatives that are kind of under CERT that partners with CERT is Sister Save Sister, which is under the direction of Crystal Smith. She is working with young women ages 13 to 18. She has recently started a group in the middle schools as well. As you can see there on your screen, that they do life skills, they do job and career guidance, just teaching young women different life skills that they'll need. A big thing that she is doing this year is mentorship. So all of the girls are encouraged to have a school mentor within the school building, and then also a community mentor within the community. So if you know of anybody, or if you're interested in being a mentor to a young woman, this is an opportunity that is out there. Sister Save Sister is also looking for sponsorship and funding as well. For vehicles and different things to help transport the girls. So that is what they have going on. This is a new program, Brothers for One and Others, excuse me, that Bud has spearheaded, starting in Dakota School, but hoping to branch out to some of the other middle school and high schools. Right now, they're just working with 7th and 8th grade boys, but with the similar initiative to what Sister Save Sister is doing with the girls. Bud has a focus on volunteer work and community involvement. Having the young men come out and cut grass for senior citizens, and a lot of different small projects, just to keep the young men engaged and out of trouble. So that is something that we're working on as well. This program is really neat. It's called Real Talk. It's run by Dondi McIntosh. It's been up actually for quite a while. I feel like he may be coming up on a year if he hasn't already. But this is a Zoom meeting designed for Black men of all ages. He hasn't determined the direct age group at this time. He wants to engage with them on just a kind of a check-in level, allow them to speak, ask questions, a safe space for Black men to discuss what they're going through, and just to have that support. They meet every Monday night from 6 to 7. It's available via Zoom, so there's no limitation. He has actually young men that have been joining from all over the Minnesota area. So that's a really neat program. His contact information is on there. It's really growing. So, and I'm sorry I'm moving fast. I just got so many different things to talk about, and hopefully, if you have any questions about any of the programs or you want more information, what I'd like to do is connect you with who's over that program specifically. But I want to let this group know that these programs are out there, so that we can work on partnering with other people that are interested in them. The big initiative that I'm involved in, of course, is the big back to school block party and parade. That's going to be Saturday, August the 19th, as you can see. There's a full parade that starts at 12. We'll be taking the same route we have took in previous years, which is from the Mayo Park area down Civic Center Drive over to MLK Park. We are still accepting applications for floats, and if you want to be in the parade, or if you have a group that wants to be in a parade, the back to school party starts at 1 p.m. We'll have entertainment there. We'll have food, beverages, and we'll also be giving out school supplies. Right now, I think we have partnered because PACE is not going to do their back to school program, which I don't know if people are aware of. They're going to partner with this back to school program. So we're just going to have one really big one this year instead of splitting it into two. So we are looking for volunteers, anything that people are able to help with this. We have our sponsorships packages. Those are all of this, almost everything that I'm sharing today is available online. Almost all of these groups have Facebook pages, that all have this information as well too. That I think I forgot to mention that. But these are for the sponsorship, to sponsor a child or to sponsor a student. And then there is another sponsorship package that'll be coming out next week for businesses, organizations to make larger value or larger dollar donations to be recognized as a sponsor of the program. But we also have the option of people to sponsor a few children, and that's explained here. So for the school supplies, for a haircut, for shoes, for different things that they have. We have some kids that have some pretty big needs in our community. So that's an opportunity as well. This is just a list of some of the needs that we have. So if anybody knows of anyone who has access to any of these items to donate or would like to donate them themselves, please get in contact with us as well. Like I said, the Facebook page is really the best place to get to contact someone with that information. We also have this is our Forgiving site, which is also a link on Facebook as well, that you would be able to click on and donate any dollar amount, recognized or anonymously, as we are still trying to raise funds to make sure that all the children that attend have backpacks. So the thing we ran into last year is that our back to school program, we did run out of backpacks. We did run out. We did not have enough to service the volume of that we had. Our goal this year is, I believe we're aiming for 1,000 backpacks total, for all of the age groups. So we are looking for good quality supplies and backpacks or donations for the kids. Like I said, we were completely out last year. We actually scrambled. There were some kids that really had a need that didn't get a book bag last year. We were able to scrape together some last minute donations, and we actually drove around the city of Rochester and donated, went to people's homes to bring those backpacks out. So our goal is 1,000, but if we can get over that, that would be amazing. And
Stephanie,
then,
so a question.
go ahead.
United Way also don't they also have some kind of a supply thing going on to every year, or are you working with them?
They're partnering with us as well.
Okay, so the 1,000 is being supplied from both United Way and you. Is that how we should think about this?
So United Way is going to be working with us. They're bringing some backpacks down, as well as PACE. And we are still working with RPS. They may have some backpacks that they didn't get rid of last year that they can. So it's looking really good for our goal.
Okay, thank you.
But we decided to kind of just make it one big thing. So those locations may still have decided to do the big event. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So the big backpack event will just be the one that on the 19th of August, as far as I know, and I'm sure there may be other organizations doing something, but I know United Way and just lost my train of thought there. United Way and PACE are partnering with with the big community parade and backpack giveaway.
Okay, thank you. It looks like Khadija have a question right now, huh? Khadija?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can't see.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Stephanie. No, I was just gonna add into that. With you mentioned it afterwards when I was saying the RPS, because RPS gets 2,500 backpacks from United Way, and they don't get rid of it. You're right. They still have some. So what happens? Like, is there a way for you guys to tell? Like, last year you said you ran out of backpacks, but could you tell the families, please, if you don't get a backpack today, go to the schools that your children go to? Because literally, like, we were talking to them last year, we did some cross-cultural training with them and said that when you put your backpacks in the office, none of the families would come. So please try to put the backpacks outside of the office so kids can just pick it up and not feel ashamed, like, that they're taking things from the school. So like for them, like, if you guys already asked them if they can give you guys extra, that's great. Because I remember last year we didn't needed backpacks for Pomoja's organization, but we needed supplies. The families had backpacks and we got donation from United Way just for the supplies. So this would be maybe next year. I know it's too late right now, but maybe next year we can. add to you guys too, and just have like that all organization instead of each person doing their own thing.
Right. So right now our goal is to have 1,000 filled backpacks. So these will all be filled. Because we had a lot of backpacks last year, but they didn't, like you said, we didn't have supplies for all of the backpacks. So that's kind of where we are with the backpacks right now. So that is a goal that we have. But our big thing as far as the back to school block party and rally, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you all, is we need volunteers, we need bodies. It's a lot of work. There was a lot of things that went on last year. I think we have a great turnout. People show up, people want the backpacks. We did decide this year that we're probably going to do something along the lines of like renting maybe a U-Haul, or seeing if 2 Men in a Truck will partner with us. And if they will partner with us, just having all of the backpacks in a truck. Because one of the issues were that people were trying to get to the backpacks before it was time to give them away. And another solution we're doing this year is we will only be giving out enough backpack tickets for the number of backpacks that we actually have. So, but there's more to come with that. And then we also are still having our planning committee meeting. So if you have any good input, please let me know and I can add you, into our meeting, or send you a link for the meeting if you have, anything, valuable to add to it. And the last group that I wanted to talk about real quick here, because I'm almost out of my time here, was just to bring up that some people are not aware of what Hustlers Anonymous is and what we do there. And I will just quick share that. Sorry, I'll see my life is like, sharing my whole phone. It's all right. So Hustlers Anonymous, we meet every Thursday. Oh, and real quick, CERT meets every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. So if you're ever interested in more information or what CERT has going on, our meetings are open to the public. They're open to the community. You can always come in and sit in a meeting and ask whatever questions you have. Hustlers Anonymous is every Thursday night at 7 p.m. And I'm pretty sure if I'm doing this right, you guys should be able to see them on your screen now. Our mission is. So our mission at Hustlers Anonymous is really to address the core thinking. There's been a lot of misconceptions about what Hustlers Anonymous is, and what we are is a support group that's not designed to get rid of any other support group. So we're not trying to be a AA or be a NA or be over those programs. Our goal is to provide support to people who don't necessarily fit into just one addiction or fit into one box. So what we are trying to do is provide a service or provide a support group for everybody, because addiction has a commonality. Whether you're addicted to shopping, drugs, gambling, alcohol, doesn't matter. There's some very common traits of addiction across the board. So what we focus on is how you can shift your mindset to use the skills that you've learned to become a better person. So in short, what I'm saying is, whether you're addicted to food, gambling, or whatever, you find a way to get whatever it is that you really want, even if it's not good for you. So instead of demonizing those skills that you've acquired, we try to help people flip them into a positive. So we work steps. We have 8 steps. Then we talk about how is it that you're able to become an entrepreneur, and how to create a business plan. And we have people that come in and discuss those things. And if you're interested in learning more about Hustlers Anonymous, you could contact me directly, or you can contact Bud directly. And that's really all I have tonight, you guys. I don't know how to stop sharing my screen. Hello? Did I lose them?
Thank you. Anybody has any question? Okay. All right. But I just have one comment, Stephanie. If anything that you want me to share on my website, send that information to me. I'd like to share all that out. Okay. All right, okay.
I can do that.
On. Okay. Move on to the next topic, which is, I think is me talking about some of the things that CMRC is doing. Okay, so let me see. So I'm going to share my screen. There you go. Okay. Okay, so so I'm going to give you some. There you go. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm going to give you a little update about several projects: a Compass project, RCTC Perkin project, and then the Community Hall Interculture Space project, and also touch a few things about the future CMRC, and then maybe I'll help make some announcement as well. Okay, let me second. Can you? Okay, I'll just let the screen stay the way it is. So for Compass, Kathy is still here. Well, you know, for those of you that maybe remember, it's an NIH grant, community-led. It's about health equity, a structural intervention initiative. And then we have submitted Diversity Council with 30 somewhat partners has submitted. We actually got into the second round of this submission. Oh, I think I got the wrong slide here. This is a old slide, I think. Okay, there you go. All right, I'm sorry. This is the one I want to show. Okay, so yeah, so the status of Compass is that we're not selected to go next round. And of course, we are always very grateful that there was 30 CBOs, community-based organizations, that provided support for the Compass application. You might recall that that it was an NIH grant. It could be multi-year. It was a big thing. It'd be really nice if we could have, pursued with that. Unfortunately, we didn't get to the next round. But what I did do, though, to say that I'm involved in the Olmsted County Community Health Assessment Planning Partnership, and I mentioned to the larger community, Olmsted County folks, and say that in the future there may be other project that comes along like that. It would be really nice that we can have Olmsted County Public Health to be part of, maybe bring together even a larger coalition to apply for the next project. Okay, somebody want to get back in? Okay, so that is what Kathy, I don't know if you want to share. Are you still there? You want to share some more information or not?
The only thing I wanted to add was when we got the message that we were not moving on to the next round, at that time, NIH said they would be sending the scores and feedback on the proposal at the end of the month of June. So they haven't met any of their deadlines yet. That was part of the learning curve. But it might be that at some point next week, we'll have access to some of that information. And I think that really fits with what you just pointed out, Al, to kind of see what the strengths were, to see how the project was, perceived by NIH, what might strengthen it. Because in talking about the opportunity, there was a lot of interest, food and wellness and culture are topics that everyone has deep interest in and sees the connections through their own culture. So I think there is interest in keeping looking for these kind of large opportunities where we could pull together statewide coalitions. So once that information comes from NIH, I'll be happy to share it with everyone. And maybe it'll be next week, maybe it won't. I don't know what to say about their timelines. But certainly soon, very soon, we'll have our scores and some feedback on the actual grant proposal.
Thank you. I'm really, kind of looking forward to potentially, because we have such a America City of Health notion within our community, and then we have all these groups that really want to collaborate, and then we can maybe next time we can even bring together the collective effort, even do better next time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. So that's Compass. Let's see, I can go to the next slide. Okay, RCTC Perkins, you may recall the RCTC Perkins project was really about involving BIPOC. How do we encourage BIPOC community to have more participation in the community technical education? And then what we did was we did bring together a CMRC engagement team that Wright is the project coordinator or manager, project and consultant group. And then underneath that group that we have ACLA, Promotion Women, CERT, Journey, Open Beam, which is me, Rochester Cambodia Communication. We are engaged we did engagement. We submitted a report to RCTC, and that report I believe was very honest. We actually highlight something that more that even beyond what RCTC could deal with, because there's a potentially a community-wide kind of thing that need to be addressed. And that report is right now is limited distribution for now. And if anybody wants to see it, you can talk to me and I can send it to you. It will eventually be a public because really a state grant, public funded report. So eventually it would be made public. At the moment in time, RCTC is going through a review at the cabinet level, which to me seems to me that they're really paying some good attention to the report we provided. And so really kudos to everybody participating in this effort here, because we already gave them some really honest feedback as to what we think are some of the things that need to be done. And also RCTC will come back to us in the future CMRC meeting to provide some feedback on their plan of action to address some of the recommendations that the team has put forward. And then this link here can take you to more information about that project. Okay. And then Interculture Center, Rochester. This is the whole notion about building a food-centric mall or culture center that use food as a way to engage community. And Kim Sin and I, and along with other folks actually, because the three other presentation was made in DMC Real Estate Summit back on May 31st, including Washat's Rochester Muslim kind of project, as well as Promotion Women's got a presentation in ICR, which is the Interculture Center Rochester concept, was also presented there. And this link actually takes you through that proceeding there. And since then, we are now at a stage that we want to go through a little more consolidation potentially to work with other groups as well. And I'm arranging a meeting with Family Service Rochester. It turns out that they also have some notion about a service-oriented center type of thing. And then, so I think there'll be a good potential for us to combine this cultural center idea that's food-based, combined with what Family Service Rochester is taking forward for a while now, that has a collaboration space for what we call nonprofit consortium. So the idea really the space would have nonprofit consortium presence, maybe have some of the wraparound services that exist in this space, and then maybe combine with the cultural center idea about a food market or food kitchen, that type of thing. That two together might be able to combine and become a stronger proposal, actually. And then, so we are getting a meeting set up, and it's going to be in July 10th that we are meeting with Family Service Rochester. It turns out Family Service is really excited about working with this. And in fact, they're bringing along some of their partners, some nonprofit key players, including IMAA, and then Family Promise. There's another family something. I can't remember their name now. So there are three nonprofit organizations that have a strong presence in Rochester, and they'd be thinking about this nonprofit kind of wraparound center. Then we can combine with what we're presenting. That will make this a stronger, potentially stronger effort going forward. And then there's also a potential developer has been talking with us for a while now. And so in this meeting, that developer will also be there for all of us. Okay. So that is Intercultural Center Rochester ICR proposal. And then the future of CMRC, we've been talking about that. Well, we all know that this program used to be under Diversity Council. Now that Diversity Council is sunset, and then the steering committee has been meeting. In fact, we met on June 1st. In fact, maybe I can show you what some of the, real quickly, some of the summary from that first meeting is sort of boiled down to this one slide, one diagram here that really talks about CMRC could serve as a hub that hub will then serves BIPOC communities, professionals, BIPOC youths, BIPOC nonprofits, BIPOC community organizations, etc., even businesses, so that we can, when opportunity presents to themselves, we can share notes to. And then there are people that maybe wanted to engage BIPOC community. They can come to this hub. This hub would then be able to help facilitate the direction to which channel could fulfill any kind of request, any kind of opportunity like grant or even project that, for example, the request for proposal for the RCTC grant of, actually it's not a grant, really a project to do a study, and they want a BIPOC involvement, they can actually come to this hub. This hub then would look at that a potential opportunity for engagement, and then we can share this out to our community. So that is really the notion we're going to be building on more and more. Okay, so we're going to meet again at Promotion Women office this time on July 11th. Okay, so that's, stay tuned, and I think we're making some progress, good progress. And the next meeting we'll talk some more in terms of how the business model ought to be, and what level of commitment that we can all get together. Okay. All right, so that is it, I guess. And then the next one, I think, which is, I'm going to make some announcement, which is Rochester Area Foundation, their DEI practitioner convening group. I think Kathy actually set it up, sent this information out to people. They said that they're putting together a visioning work group, and then they're looking for members to join that visioning work group. For those of you who may not be aware of this, the Rochester Area Foundation convening this called DEI practitioners get together. And then they're at a point where we really want to get a smaller work group together, really to discuss what is the direction of this work group. So I think Kathy sent out the information, and also on my website as well, what the opportunity is for anybody that would have joined the visioning work group. Okay, so that's all the announcement I have. And I don't know if anybody else want to make some announcement. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. The little baby may want to say something, Miriam. Okay. And anyhow.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So
probably will.
Okay. So again,
one thing to add, Al, is that we're very, very thankful for all these opportunities that you're bringing together for all of us to be aware of. Thank you so much. I know CMRC is doing an effort to become that hub, to be able to bring us all together and be informed, because information is power. So thank you.
I will make one comment too. Charlie Perkins here. I know. Okay, for his first time joining us, Charlie. I know that maybe one thing I can announce that he's got a podcast that you might want to hear from him. Charlie's and I try to listen to his podcast once in a while. It's really informative. Yep. Okay, if nothing else, then I guess we're getting ready to go to the next event, which is the city what do you call that? Juneteenth event. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep,
Bye.
bye.